Today we're going to learn how to solve the 3x3 Rubik's Cube only using 180-degree turns. Now, first of all, to use this method, you're going to have to scramble it with only using 180-degree rotations. If you just scramble it normally, then it will be impossible to solve under this special rule. The method that I've created for this video permutates the corners, the centers, and then the edges. Permutating the corners is actually pretty easy because when you don't have to worry about other pieces, it's really just a 2x2. This means that in 4 or less moves, you should be able to permutate all of the corners. This just takes a little bit of practice, and then in 4 or less moves, you should be able to permutate all the corners. So you'll see the same 4 colors of corners on each side. If you're having trouble with this step, then you can use this method, which is try to get all of your white corners together, and then see if you're done. If you're not, and you have this case, then do this simple algorithm. R2, F2, R2. And then all of your corners should be permutated. Permutating the centers is very easy. In fact, at most, it should only take one M2 move. Simply look around the cube and see which centers are already in place. So I see that the orange is in place because it matches up with the corners, and that the red is in place because it matches up with the corners. This means for the rest of them, they all need to be moved. With just one M2 move, all of my centers are now in place. At this point, you should have a cube looking something like this, where it's obvious that only edges are the pieces that need to be moved around. For this, we'll use a few different algorithms that will pinpoint specific edges and where they need to go. For the two most common cases, I've made these two easy algorithms. And yes, all the algorithms that I've made only use 180-degree turns. This first case is where you need to switch 2 edges here, and then 2 edges here. You'll just hold them vertically, and then do this algorithm. M2, U2, M2, U2. As you can see, those edges have been switched. For this other one, it will switch these 2 on the top, but then these 2 on the left side. The algorithm is this. L2, U2, L2, U2, L2, U2. These 2 edges have been switched, and these 2 edges have been switched. This is probably the most common algorithm, so it will help to get fast at this one. With only using these 2 algorithms, you should be able to get your top and bottom side. You could have an easy case like this, where you can see that these 2 and these 2 edges need to switch. Then you would just simply do your algorithm, and then you have your top and bottom side. Although you could have a harder case like this, where only one edge is out of place. To do this, you would simply move the edge closer to it, and then you would do your edge switching algorithm for these 2 and these 2, but we don't need to worry about these 2. Then bring it back down, and then you should have your top and bottom sides complete. After you've completed your top and bottom sides, you can then use those 2 easy algorithms to get the majority of the pieces swapped. However, it's pretty likely that you'll run into something called parity. This means that you won't be able to use those 2 easy algorithms to continue switching pieces. If you have any of these cases, then you'll have to use a longer special algorithm to finish the cube. This first case is the most basic. So this is when 2 pieces are swapped here, but then 2 pieces are swapped on the face. So it prevents you from using any of those 2 easy algorithms to continue solving it. You'll just hold the cube like this, and then do this algorithm. L2, F2, U2, L2, U2, F2, L2, U2. So swap the ones on the face and the ones on the top. It's really just a few setup moves, and then I do an L2, and then I undo those setup moves, and then do a U2. The next parity case is just simply an H-perm. This is a pretty annoying case because you've probably seen it before and have probably learned an algorithm. However, the algorithm that most of you have learned uses 90-degree rotations, so we cannot use that one. Instead, we will just hold it anyway and then do our last algorithm. Now, what this will do is it will sort of take the parity out of it, and then it will give us a case that we can work with. This last case is pretty similar to the H-perm, in that it's just the parity algorithm and then a few more easy algorithms to finish out the cube. So this is when you have 3 edges that need to be cycled around the cube. It's a little hard to tell whether or not this case is upside down, so you have to make sure that this dot is here with no colors that are the same, and then the 2 that you need to cycle here on the right. You will then just do your parity algorithm, which should then put it into this case, which you can then just easily solve. I've also made another algorithm for this, which is where you hold it like this, and then just do this algorithm 4 times. Although I have counted up the moves, this isn't move efficient, but it might be faster. There are plenty of other algorithms that you can just figure out for more efficient solves. There's not a lot on the internet right now about this, so any algorithms that you find, you'll probably have to find yourself. And there you have it. That's how to solve a 3x3 with only using 180-degree turns. I hope this video was helpful to you, and for the future, good luck.